want to even welcome all the precious participants who are eagerly waiting to enhance the knowledge through this platform. I greet you all for this session. Okay, coming to this session, you can see from my screen, this is doubling farmers' income by food processing. It looks catchy and exciting, but let's dive deep into it and see how this can be made possible. So without taking much time, let's start. So meanwhile, if at any point, if my screen is not visible and if I'm not audible, I request you all to kindly notify me. Okay, so what is this food processing? Because before we start with this, we should know what is food processing. As I got to know, there are participants from all the other streams as well. It is necessary to know about food processing. You all know it is nothing, it's not a rocket technology or something that people may not know, but still, this will make our discussion more meaningful even after that, to make it more conversationable one. So what is this food processing? So from the screen, you can see that it is transformation of agricultural products into food, or one form of food or into other forms. So like in lighter word, I can put it, we all have wheat. If you consider wheat, so when you mill the wheat, you get wheat flour, and this wheat flour can be used to make multiple products, including roti, chapatis, and even multiple other products. The same way, if you take paddy, so when you mill the paddy, you can convert that to rice, broken rice, and many other forms. The same way, if you take any other raw materials, we can just convert it, even whether it is cleaning or at times sorting or grading, and then you will get it in the finer form. So this is actually, it is transformation of this product into an edible form, or ready to cook form, or ready to eat form. Ultimately, it reduces the food waste and it improves the food preservation. That is, you can keep it for a little longer time. Thus, it also reduces the environmental impact of agriculture and it improves the food security. Now, when we talk about food processing, how this can be related to the farmers? Definitely, there are food processing has multiple levels. So there are some levels that which is easily achievable, attainable, and doable by the farmers. So this levels are primary food processing, secondary food processing, and tertiary food processing. Let's have a small look into it, which will help us to understand which level will be better for our farmers to adopt, which will help them to increase their income. First of all, it is the primary food processing. What is this primary food processing? This is just the conversion of raw material into food commodity. Just I gave an example of milling of wheat into flour. The same way, milling of paddy into rice and then to further product. So it turns, this primary processing converts the agricultural products, whether it is wheat kernels or the livestock, into something that can be eventually eaten. So this primary processing also involves several other processes like cleaning. So at times we know for millets, whether it is ragi, pearl millet, or whatever the types of millet it may be, as you get from the field, it is not clean. So some of the millets require dry cleaning. Some of the millets, they require even other process. So we have to clean it. So this cleaning is also a primary processing. So if the farmer just cleans the commodity, the agriculture product what he has, and if he sells, that is also a value addition for it. Now, even sorting. What is sorting? Sorting, that is removal of some of these inedible fractions. So removal of the rejected ones from the grains or in other process. So when we do so, that is also primary processing. These are easily doable prime unit operations that when a farmer involves, he and his family or the farming community, when they do it, it enhances their income. So primary processing of cereals, it includes cleaning, grading, hulling, removal of the hull, milling, pounding, grinding, tempering. It is not for all crops. Certain crops that need to be tempered, parboiling, rice is parboiled, soaking, drying, sealing, and so on. So these are some kind of these are some of the examples of primary processing that a farmer or a farming community can easily do that will enhance their income. Now coming to the next one, that is secondary food processing. So what is a secondary level? Secondary level is what the outcome of the first level. We use what is the raw material from that is the milled wheat flour or the milled rice flour or the clean millets, whatever it may be, we will convert into a product that is more ready to eat from. That is, secondary production involves converting these ingredients into more useful or edible form. So these secondary products are at times refined, like we know wheat flour. So what is the refined form of wheat flour that we all know? That is maida. Where everywhere the controversy is there not to consume this refined wheat flour. In the same way, corn. We all know corn flour, but refined form of this corn, that is corn flour that you get it in the market. Then you will find purified, extracted, or even transformed from minimally processed. So they all come under this secondary food processing. So this secondary food processing also create foods from the ingredients that are ready to use. For example, I just told you about wheat flour, atta. So from this atta, we can make cookies, cakes, bread, so many other products. So that's a secondary product. Now from dairy product, we can make cheese, yogurt, and so on. And from meat product, you can make sausage, etc., etc. From the beverages, from grape juice, we can make beer, we can brew beer, we can make wine, and so on. So all these are the examples of secondary food processing. Now, our farmers, they can directly or indirectly involved in any of this process to enhance their income. Coming to the next level, tertiary food processing. So this tertiary food processing, it is the commercial production of what is commonly called processed food. So I need to tell, at times this is a culprit. Many times people blame it as junk food. You know that whether it is a noodle or it is a pasta or it can be burger or pizza. So which is made from the refined form of it. So ultimately, this tertiary food is what is made from the secondary product, ready to eat, whether heat and serve, or some at times you can frozen meals or reheated in airlines. So these tertiary food products, they promote overnutrition beyond what a human is required, or it is blamed for obesity. And junk foods also, these tertiary products, they are the important component that we will find too much of salt, sugar, fat. And this adds to the calories. Having very little or no fiber, so these are unhealthy with respect to the dietary need of humans and farm animals. Just pausing here. Before we go to the next topic, I just want to park this topic here before I just switch over to the next one. So we discussed about what is food processing and what are the levels of food processing. Now, we know the topic is doubling farmers' income using food processing. So far, we were discussing about food processing. Now, let's see about the farmers, present status of farmers in our nation. As you all agree, agriculture is the backbone of India even today, and it employs about 43% of the total workforce in India. This contributes to about 17% to the Indian economy as per 2019 data. That is the gross value added at current prices. Now, if you see the sources of livelihood in India, it's more than 70% of rural households. They depend on agriculture as their main source of income. Now, among these 70%, majority of these farmers, having like 82 to 85%, they are either small or marginal farmers. Who are they? They own less than 2 hectares of land. You know, like 2 hectares is just less than 5 acres of land. Now, these farmers, they are the last one to reap the benefit of agro-based enterprises. We have lot of agro-based enterprises, but they are the hardworking people. Of course, others also work hard, but when in terms of benefit, they reap the last benefit. They end up fighting distress sale. So, what is this distress sale? Most of you may be knowing, when this farmer or a seller, they need to sell their agricultural product urgently. What is urgent? At times they might have uh, borrowed some money from a money lender or from a neighbor or from their friends, and they had to repay immediately with multiple interest. So at that time, the season may not be there. They have to sell it. At times, medical expenses, suddenly some emergency, they health, and they have to meet out the hospital need. So what do they do? Whatever they have, the stock or store, they have to sell it. So the current, they have to sell at much lesser price than the current market value. So this is called the distress sale. Mostly farmers undergo this distress sale and even post-harvest losses. At times they will think 100 tons or some amount of 100 kg, sorry, 100 kg of product is their warehouse. They want to keep it for 3 months, waiting for prospective time, windfall. But meanwhile, some 20-30% of their quantity is lost. So these are some of the reasons. Apart from that, low and high fluctuating farm income. Even there is no stability in the farm income. As we all agree, it causes a detrimental effect on the interest in farming, and they also find what more to invest on that. So because that even farmers, they encourage their own children to go for higher studies and look for some alternate jobs or anything and to leave farming, not looking into farming as an option. Just an example, we all know last month in August, you may be aware of the onion distress. Onion traders in Nasik, Maharashtra, they boycotted the sale. Why? Because central government imposed 40% of export duty. The reason they wanted to reduce the export. So they boycotted and there was a huddle over there. Now, if you see just 2 more months before, like probably July time, we all faced about the high rocketing onion tomato prices, which went up to rupees 300. Why? The transportation difficulties, rain damage, and some of the main belt tomato growing areas. Okay, the landslides in Himachal and other places, all that added to the woes. So you found even the farmers, they could not get as much what they expected. Then if you see the sugarcane farmers, lot of hue and cry towards the harvest season. At times they have less water for irrigation, and there is always a stagnant in the production, and there is a price irregularities. So because of so, it can keep on adding for crop after crop, whether it is for the main crops or for cash crops or for horticultural crops. So all that cause it's a thought about, I mean, farmers, they think of leaving the farming. With this background, in order to promote their welfare, because we have already seen our, our country is an agrarian country where more people are dependent on agriculture. Now, in order to promote their welfare and to reduce this agrarian distress, what is this agrarian distress? This economic, political, and social challenges faced by the farmers and the farming community. Apart, in order to bring a parity or equality between the income of farmers and those who are working in non-agricultural profession. So, for this particular purpose, a goal was set by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi to double farmers' income. And this was initiated in February 2016, the target to be achieved by 2022. Let's not forget we are in 2023. Now, they formed a committee under the leadership of Mr. Ashok Dalwai to prepare a blueprint, how to go about it, to have a roadmap of this. Now, on that basis, some of the recommendations we are given. Fundamentally, there are three ways in which income of farmers may be enhanced. First of all, to increase their total income, that is gross income. Now, second one, to reduce the cultivation cost. At times, the cultivation costs go high. Farmers, they keep taking loans, they borrow money, and they keep getting, their cost keeps increasing. So how it can be reduced? Then stabilizing an income, how they can have a stable income or going for an remunerative prices. So here this word remunerative price, I need to tell about FRP. Most of you are aware about fair and remunerative price. So this fair and remunerative price, it is the statutory minimum price which is fixed by a government. They keep changing time to time in order to help the farmers. As we know, they fix a statutory minimum price for wheat, for paddy, for sugarcane, and so other crops. Now, as I told you, this how this farmers' income, like this Mr. Ashok Dalwai committee was, they gave a recommendation along with a blueprint. Now, how this, there are different ways to double the farmers' income. First of all, to improve crop productivity by using technology and extension. How this can be done? We all know production is different and productivity is different. Within the given quantity of their field or area, how they can increase the yield. So only by applying some of the latest strategies, hybrid crops, then recommended fertilizers, and using all that strategies, they may be able to get increased productivity. Then reducing cost of cultivation. So this cost of cultivation is something very important, like the input for agriculture. What are those inputs of agriculture? We know, especially first of all, seeds. Now coming to crop nutrition, fertilizers are there. Then for crop protection, pesticides are there. So apart from pesticides, we can even add up water, irrigation, and so many others so on. So how to reduce, how to rationalize, how to optimize the utilization of these inputs. Then apart from the increasing cropping intensity, this is some important point, that is the field remains the same, but instead of the farmer depending on only the rainfed cultivation, they have to add up, they have to add even the irrigated area efficiency. So this is possible only if they have sufficient irrigated water facility. In this way, they can increase their cropping intensity as well. Next, one of the ways, that is remunerative price to farmers. I told you about the minimum statutory price. Especially this is fixed by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. So this Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, on the recommendation of Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, that is CACP. Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, on the recommendation, they fixed, okay, in the year 2023, let us fix 1 ton of sugarcane this much cost, 1 quintal of paddy this cost, 1 quintal of wheat this much. So they fix it so that the farmers will get at minimum statutory price. Now, divert surplus labor from agriculture. So that is skill building. So at time, the labor shortage is there, at times surplus is there. But what to do when the labor surplus is there? They have to be trained in skill building, in other skills. May not be always towards technical one, but in other areas. Now, apart from that, reduce post-harvest losses and wastes. This is very, very important because more than 10-20% of our crops are getting wasted in different sectors. Now, diversification to farm. Let's not hold only to paddy, wheat, and so on. But let's diversify to horticultural crops, then mixed cropping, that is livestock, and let's add fisheries to it. And apart from that, some of the non-farm sectors activities as well. Like non-farm sector means those except agriculture, livestock, fishing and hunting, you'll find closely whichever is needed. Some handicrafts, construction, mining, transportation, like diversifying from the farm. This will also one way helping the farmers to double the income. So let me park here before we move ahead. Without getting our thoughts distracted, we were discussing about food processing, levels of food processing. We were discussing about the present status of farmers and the ways how the income can be doubled. Parking this year. Now I told you this doubling of farmers' income. This phrase we started, this was envisaged in 2016. Before that, was there no vision or nothing for it? It's not like that. Yes, there were strategies. So earlier strategy was to increase the production so that the food security can be ensured to the people of our country. So during, you all may be knowing that during a time of independence and so on, we were not even having enough production to meet our population. So the main focus was to increase the productivity, the production. So that was the time when we knew about Green Revolution and simultaneously White Revolution, Blue Revolution, and even Pink Revolution. Different types of revolutions came. So an increase in the productivity through better technology and varieties, and the increased use of quality seed. What kind of seed to be used? Hybrid seed, giving better yields. Then what kind of fertilizers, irrigation, agrochemicals. So this is one area. Apart from that, incentive structure in the form of remunerative prices. Just now only I told you about the remunerative prices for some of the crops and subsidies on farm inputs. Apart from that, public investments in and for agriculture and facilitating institutions. So these were some of the strategies that were formed. But so with these strategies, what was our conditions? Definitely India's food production multiplied 3.7 times. Let's not forget that. At the same time, our population also multiplied. So when the food production multiplied by 3.7 times, our population multiplied by 2.55 times since independence. So simultaneously, food production and population both were increasing. So the net result has been just a 45% increase in per person food production, which has made India not only self-sufficient at the aggregate level, but also a net food exporting country. You all agree that we export not only wheat and even some of our food crops, not only horticultural, meat and marine, to other countries. It is true in some cases. Growth in output brings similar increase in farmers' income, but in many cases, this farmers' income did not grow much with increase in output. So again, net result that farmers' income remained low which is evident from their incidence of poverty among the farm households. This is the crude reality. Further, if you see, their income remains so low in relation to those who are working in non-farm sectors. Now, I also told you the low and high fluctuating farm income, it is causing a detrimental effect. So, that is why a diversification is needed. What is this diversification? A diversification can be a major game changer. So instead of depending on low yielding food grain crops, at times, depending on the locality, region, and availability, if the crop is low yielding, the farmers are encouraged to go for mixed farming. You all know what is mixed farming. They can go for even raising silkworms, that is sericulture. They can go for beekeeping, or even forestry, or even floriculture, lot of ornamental flowers and so on, horticultural crops, animal husbandry. So this is diversifying agriculture. Now, along with this diversified agriculture, the farmers little advanced. They are applying artificial intelligence, machine learning, and remote sensing, using of drone technology, and these are also used apart from that adding blockchain technology. Blockchain technology, precision farming, this is mainly to identify their identifying the market and so many for other purpose. These game changes technologies are also used. Now there are three, it can be of three types. One is for product, that is high value enterprises. Next one is process, that is a precision farming, and time diversification, what they can do it. Now coming to the bumper production of crops that can lead to a sharp fall in price. What is this bumper production? The large crop of agriculture produce that can be a boon or it can be a ban. So boon means it can be a blessing to the farmer or it can be a windfall to the farmer. That is bumper production usually. At times, when the bumper production is there, the prices fall depending on the market situation. So this can be prevented only by changing the seasonality. All the crops you cannot change the seasonality, but the farmers can make a permutation combination looking for the locality, their market and demand. Accordingly, they can go for the seasonality. Now, not all the measures above can be implemented in all the states, and the pathway to this doubling income will be different for each state. So if we dealing from a seasonality, so as the blueprint or the pathway, it is not same for all the states. Now, one important aspect, and I need to tell you, these farmers' income through food processing, how this can be done. So they have to think about a paradigm shift from the production-based agriculture to profit-based farming. Many times, farmers, they look with production based. They have to produce. That's fine. But they need to be oriented, trained, helped towards the profit based farming. So the farming as an occupation should help them to get a profit business. So as per the survey from Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare in 2017, this present table that shows the farm harvest price of major crops in Punjab, which was conducted in the year 1415, almost 9 years before. So which it tells that for raising 1 quintal of paddy, they had to spend 1400 rupees. And for wheat, 1410 rupees. For maize, 1232. For gram, 4434. For rapeseed and mustard, 2681. And for sesame, it is 9000 rupees. So this farm harvest price, it's an indicator that shows about the wholesale price at which the commodity, these crops were disposed of at the village, at their site itself. Now, this is very obvious that is not remunerative to the farmer. You can just imagine one quintal, like 100 kg, in order to produce 100 kg, and they investing a time of at least 3 to 4 months with all the preparation, carrying like a baby, right from day one, from the soil preparation till the time it is harvested, and they are getting, and this is what they are getting. So, which is very, very less. So, it's obvious that they are not getting a remunerative price for their processing. Therefore, a strategy must be adopted to double the farmer's income through the processing, the catchment itself. So when you talk about food processing, I need to add about few things. What is this food processing industry? In India, uh, because of the climate and the availability, because of this, we find our people are not much into processed food. So the processed food still it will take time to establish and to further. Now, this is a survey from Ministry of Food Processing Industries where they mentioned in our nation, just 25% of our processing ones, they are in the organized sector. So, for example, most of us are aware, what are those organized sectors? Britannia. Britannia, it's very popular with their biscuits, cakes, and other products. Then Haldirams, they are popular for their namkeens. ITC, they have so many of their products. MTR Foods, again processed foods. Nestle India, they have n number of their products. Parley Agro, then LT Foods, McCain Foods, Kohinoor, Marico, and so on. These are some of the organized ones. Now, what about the rest of 75%? So I told you organized is only 25%. So this is where this rest of 75 in this you can see on the chart that is 42% is unorganized and 33% is from small scale industry. So our farmers can easily pitch in these 75% and they can earn their income. They can become third party companies to bigger industries and they can even give their feed, they can give the raw material, they can give ingredients, and they can earn a better remunerative prices for it. If you see the sectors, so these are some of the sectors which are very popular. Fruits and vegetables, we know, very popular. Kisan Jam, Kisan, they produce a lot of fruit related products. Then milk processing, very popular, that is Mother Dairy, Amul, though it started from Anand, they have now in every other place. Then in UP, you can have that Parag. In Bihar, they have Sudha. In Kerala, they have Milma. In Tamil Nadu, they have Avin. Every state, they have their different milk processing and others. Now, what about this edible oil? Edible oil processing, if you see that. So some of the edible oil processing, that is Adani Wilmar, you all know, Fortune, soya oil and all soybean oils. Adani Wilmar is famous for it. BCL Industries, Cargill India Private Limited, and so on. So many other companies are there. When you talk about meat and poultry processing, you'll find Al-Kabir, Alana Sun. Alana Sun has a good number of modernized meat processing plant where they export most of the product. Apart from that, we'll have even Bharti Poultry, Simran Farms, Suguna, Venki, and so on. In marine processing, it is very popular in all our Indian given 8,800 plus kilometer down the coastal areas where you can see Falcon Marine Export, Davy CF exports, Gold Marine exports, and so on. The same way, sugar and kansari, that is also very popular. Consumer goods and processing, and see that we can keep on adding. So why I'm telling is how can our farmers be benefited in this? Yes, they can have third party companies linked to these and they can have double the income from this. Now from the slide you can see the backbone of today's food processing, that is this Ministry of Food Processing Industries. So this Ministry of Food Processing Industries, we can see Government of India has approved an umbrella central sector scheme. What is this umbrella central sector scheme? That is called SAMPADA. This SAMPADA is an acronym that stands for Scheme for Agro Marine Processing and Development of Agro Processing Clusters. So with the total allocation of 6,000 crore in the year 2017, and the implementation period was from 2016 to 2000, with the scope terminus with 14 finance commission cycle, but now it is extended till 2026. So this Sampada scheme was late because it was envisaged further to increase, and it was further renamed with Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. So this is one platform that our farmers can double their income. So what is this Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana? This aims at the entire linkage and plugging gaps in, there are gaps in supply chain, modernization and expansion of the processing unit and so on. So these gaps can be plugged in. Apart from that, this Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, it was aimed to benefit 20 lakh farmers to generate 5,30,500 direct and indirect employment. As I told you, the allocation was 6,000 crore. Now, if you see further, there are 7 schemes under this Yojana. So, the schemes under this Yojana, one is Mega Food Park. We will discuss in detail about this, and we will also discuss how this can be a boon for our farmers to double their income. Second is creation of backward and forward linkages. Third one is integrated cold chain and value addition infrastructure. Number 4 is creation and expansion of food processing and preservation capacities. Number 4 is food safety and quality assurance infrastructure, that is infrastructure including lab and HACCP implementation. Number 6 is creation of infrastructure for agro processing cluster. And finally, human resources and integration. These are the 7 schemes. Let's see how these 7 schemes can help our farmers. First of all, this Mega Food Park. This is an ongoing one, which was launched in the year 2008. It's like 15 years, 15 plus years, this Mega Food Park is going on. From the image you can see, so we are having three groups of people. So the first one, they are, if you can follow my cursor, they are the farmer groups. The second one, the blue ones, they are the self-help groups. And the third one, the red one, they are the farmers. Now from these 3 groups, farmer groups, self-help groups and the farmers. So these are collection points, separate collection points. Whatever they produce is there, that can be collected at different collection points. From the collection points, it goes to PPC, that is Primary Processing Center. I told you in the beginning of my lecture what is primary processing. So it goes to Primary Processing Center. So from the primary processing, it comes to CPC, that is the Central Processing Center. So from the Central Processing Center, number of value-added products, fresh products, domestic retail sales, domestic sales and export, all that is manufactured and it is dispatched further. So the purpose of this Mega Food Park, it is to provide mega, large food park, okay, to provide excellent infrastructure for food processing industries. So this food processing industries to facilitate the induction of the latest technology, not to stick on to the old technologies, but to provide the latest technology. So in this scheme, this first scheme, 50% of the total project cost is provided as a granting aid to the Northeast region, because special focus is given to the Northeast farmers, the people, so that can be developed. And for them, the 75% of the project cost is provided as a grant in aid. Now, this mega food park scheme will be implemented by SPV, that is Special Purpose Vehicle, and it needs to bring 20% of the project cost as equity in general areas. So whatever they get it, they have to raise the funds of almost 20%, and the people from hill and island areas, they have to raise 10%. With that condition, this was implemented. And where you can ask where the farmers are these farmer groups and farmers, they are linked. They can give the produce to these collection centers. Now coming to the second scheme, that is integrated cold chain and value addition infrastructure. This is also an ongoing project from the year 2010. Here, if you see from the farm, from the individual farm of the farmer, the agriculture produce, they are transported to the packing house. From the packing house, it is taken to the pre-cooling center where it is sorted, cleaned, further packed, and if the product requires refrigerated transport, it is taken and exported. Now, from the packing house, it is again taken to the cold storage, refrigerated. This is for domestic sales outlet. This is for export, and this is for domestic. So you find the entire cold chain is managed. So in this project, even the financial assistance will be provided in setting up of the integrated cold chain, the preservation, value addition infrastructure facilities, mainly to prevent the post-harvest loss of the horticulture and non-horticulture produce. So where are our farmers linked here? Right in the farm. So our farmers are in this at the primary location. Now apart from that, the second objective is to provide for ripening chamber. Why ripening chamber is required? Because for fruits like mangoes and even lychee and so many other fruits, you'll find pre-cooling units are required. They are ripening chambers. They have to ripe at the same time so that they can be used for making pulp, puree, and other products, pre-cooling, transport infrastructure, pack house. So they get a grant in aid of about 35% for general areas and 50% for the northeastern states for the total cost of machinery and the plant. This is about the second scheme. Now, what is the third scheme? Third scheme, that is the new one that was launched after 2016, creation and expansion of food processing and preservation capacities. So the objective is to create or modernize the preservation capacity. So the existing capacity is there. They have to increase their capacity. So here, uh, previously, if a plant is having a capacity of 10 ton, so they are given this uh, fund to increase from 10 ton to 50 ton or 100 tons and so on. So here they have get 35% of the cost of the plant, machinery, civil work. In the general areas, 50% in the northeastern states. So this food processing unit should be set up only in the agro clusters and mega food parks. So I will just talk about what are clusters now and even mega food parks. So it should not be less than 20% of the project cost. So here our farmers are also, they can be benefited. So what are the eligible sectors under this scheme? So fruits and vegetable processing or milk processing, meat, poultry and fish processing, ready to eat, ready to cook, breakfast cereals and snacks, flour, pulse, and even oilseed milling, rice milling, preference again given to northeastern region, other horticultural sectors like spices, mushroom, soybean, honey, etc. Animal feed plants to be set up in mega food parks. So these are the sectors under the scheme of expansion of processing and this preservation capacities. Now, this is a very important one, that is infrastructure for agro processing clusters. I have been telling, but I will not deal much into it because I saw one topic specifically on agro processing in that clusters. So I'll just specify because it's a part of this Sampada Yojana. So I'll just add to it. So what is the two important objectives of the scheme? that is to create a sophisticated infrastructure for food processing industries to provide preservation infrastructure from farm gate to the consumer. What do you mean by farm gate? Farm gate, it is actually the direct marketing within the given area. That is, the farmer is able to sell his product from his field, from within this vicinity. He need not take to a far place. So this scheme has two basic components. That is basic enabling infrastructures like water supply, ETP, that is effluent treatment plant, roads, drainage, common facilities such as cold storage, sorting, grading, warehouse, IQF, that is individual quick freezing, etc. So under this scheme, the minimum investment of almost 25 crores, 5 processing units should be set up in the cluster. So as I told you, this agro processing, just to throw some light on this agro processing, what is this agro processing? If you just split this word agro and processing, it is defined as a set of techno-economic activities. That is, the activities that involve technology as well as economic apply to all the products. What are those products that originates from the farm? That is livestock, aquaculture sources, forest, product conservation, handling, value addition to make them usable as food, feed, fiber, fuel, or industrial raw material. So what is this APC? So I just told about agro processing. Now what is agro processing center? The center is an enterprise or a company or an industry where the required facilities, we discussed about primary, secondary, and tertiary processing. So at least the required facilities of a primary, secondary processing, storage, handling, and all that it is available on a rental or a charge basis. Say for example, generator. None of us, like very few people may have generator in their home, but there is a need, they can hire, they can rent. Simple example. Now, tent, and if there is a party or function at home, we don't keep stock of the chairs and stuff like that. We go to a tent house and whatever we require, we hire it on a rent basis and we use it. But here, how can we do it? This agro processing center. In the center, they have all the equipment and machineries, and the farmer they can go, they can utilize it, they can do it on rented basis. 10 kg, in order to make 10 kg or 20 kg. For example, if a farmer has 25 kgs of mustard, he can take it to the agro processing center, which may have an expeller. So he will take it in the form how it is used there. He can expel the oil. He brings the cake. So 25 kgs, he will charge some amount. Just like what we do in most of the houses, they do atta. They store or they stack the wheat in the season. And as in time, when the time required, 10 kgs, 25 kgs, they dry it, clean it up, take it to the mill nearby, and they use as fresh. The same, that is also a way by which they use it. So this, what is this agro processing center? It has so many benefits. It's a major source of employment. Just like that, in every villages you will find atta chakki or oil expeller. We are having it. It's a small one. So it's a single unit. It gives employment to the people. It adds value to the crop by the processing. It also a little done with the proper quality. It earns foreign exchange by the export. Now, benefits large of people, farmers through this. So here, if you see on my screen, here I have given a small picture that is for a layout, APC layout entry. The left side, the change room and washroom is separate. The right side towards the right, you have the marketing outlet and the office. Again, the right side, you have the raw material storeroom, packaging room, and so on. Now, this is a hygiene zone. So beyond the hygiene zone, these are the equipment kept. The cleaner, grader, or the washer. Flour mill or atta mill is for, it can be for rice, it can be for wheat, and so on. This can be for dal mill, the different dal mill, and it is for polisher, for polishing the dal, and one, and the mini rice mill. rice mill, and spice grinder. So different type of spice that can be ground, oil expellers, oil expellers. So behind it has the facilities for the gutter, dust collector, waste, and so on. This small layout of it. Now, what is this cluster? I told you about agro processing center and cluster. Center has number of units and cluster has number of centers. See, two models you can see on my screen. One is like mini rice mill unit. And a mini rice mill unit which has a cleaner, sheller, and a polisher, which costed about 5 lakhs. Grain cleaner or a grader maybe 1 lakh. Extruder and its accessories like 25 lakhs. Bags and packaging material like 1,50,000, and 10 HP motor. Altogether it's like around about 32 lakhs. The same way, one more model, agro processing center for potato and extruded product. If you see the potato chips plant, so which is 10 lakhs. Again, extruded and accessories having around 25 lakhs, weighing balance and so on, and all that comes around 38 lakhs. So with that, so having cluster has number of centers. So centers, so the farmers, they can use it as a rental and they can enhance the value. What are the other benefits? Because here it is promoting this in the production catchment. You need not take it far. Catchment within the vicinity, this can be increased. Now, APC has the facilities for even, as I told you, primary processing, secondary processing. It also has the facilities for storage, handling, and drying of cereals, pulses, soil seeds, and so on. Now, this type of APC, this agro processing center, can be managed by individuals. Somebody has some money, they can start on its own, or cooperatives like self-help groups. They can together, they can have it as a community, they can have it organizations, or they can do it. So they have some machines and equipment of different capacity. So they are very easy to operate and they are easy to handle. So farmers, this helps them to double their income. So coming to the PM Sampada Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Sampada Yojana. So this is the creation of backward and forward linkage, mainly for perishable coffee produce and for enhancing the shelf life of some of the produce. So these schemes will have distribution hubs and mobile pre-cooling trucks, cold storage, IQF, and so on. Even to promote the existing food processing industries and farmer producer organization. Government encourages farmer producing organizations for for the development of some of the crops. So this backward and forward linkage scheme, if you see that the eligible components, backward linkage, you have pack houses. I want to talk about this integrated pack houses, how farmers can have it. Successful pack houses are available. You will find for pomegranate, for grapes, for mangoes, different areas you will find pack house. So which has mechanized sorting. It is not human sorting, mechanized sorting, grading line, packing line, packaging line, stacking, cold room, storage, etc. So this also has milk chilling centers. If it is a milk related one, pre-cooling units, mostly for fruits and vegetable pre-coolings are must. Then pre-cooling vans, mobile ones, reefer boats. What are these reefer? Refrigerated boats even for fishing. So that when they go for fishing in the catchment area itself, they can put it in the reefer boats. Then machinery and equipment for packing and packaging. This is for backward linkage. So what is for forward linkage? So having ripening chambers. I already told about this ripening chambers, cold room, cold storage, and retail chain of outlets for perishables. It is even for meat shops and frozen storage and so on. Now the sixth scheme, that is food safety and quality assurance. So this is an indirect way this can give income to the farmers. All other five schemes that we have discussed, this has direct income, but this is the sixth scheme that has indirect way we generate employment to the farmers. So that there's two sub schemes, that is setting up of and upgradation of quality control testing laboratory. So farmers or farmer groups or self-help groups, when they have established these agro processing centers and all, they can test the quality of the product through these. So having a surveillance system, knowing the quality, just giving for that it can be given. So they provide 100% grant in it. So this is called food testing laboratory scheme. Again, this is an indirect way how the farmers can be encouraged, encouraging industries to adopt quality assurance and food safety mechanism like total quality management, including ISO 22000, goods hygienic practice, good manufacturing practices, HACCP, and so on and so forth. You can see that. Now, this is the last scheme in that PMK Sampada Yojana. So, this is a research and development. This is also indirectly related. See, most of these research institutions, as you know, NIPTM Kundali, NIPTM Tanjavur, ICT Mumbai, CFTRA, and so many other national institutions, SLIGHT, and so on. So they have done a lot of research and development work in terms of the value addition. So they have developed some efficient technologies, product development, so on. So how this can be reached to the food processing industries? So there is a scheme for these promotional activities. So this recently we were using Niftam Tanjavur. They have developed small clippings of from this Atmanirbhar scheme of this government, how to make jam, jelly, squashes, ketchups, so that even farmers can see that, learn that, and they can make use of it. So the main objective of this scheme is to organize and participate and in all India level exhibitions, having workshops, seminars, food fairs, and other schemes. So especially for human resources and the institution. Now the next one is skill development. Even in these national institutes, they have incubation centers. What is that incubation centers? So the farmers, the farm women or the farmers, they are trained. They are also trained in some of the areas how to do it. Then strengthening the institution. This is last, like as I have added, Neptum, Kundali, and Tanjavur to create infrastructures like student hostels, sport facilities, and so on. This is one of the last item what the government is promoting, that is Operation Green. Operation Green. What is this Operation Green? So just to enhance the value realization of the farmers, to strengthen the clusters. Cluster means having multiple centers together is called clusters. By connecting the farmers with the market. For example, if the farmers they are in Haryana, Punjab, or Himachal, then farmers in Chhattisgarh, MP, Maharashtra, Gujarat. So connecting them the common platform to know, so that the farmers will be knowing wheat from this particular state of this variety. This is the market value. Wheat of this is the market value, and thereby reducing the post-storage losses by creating farm gate infrastructure. I already told about farm gate infrastructure, that is direct marketing within the given area. Then this scheme was expanded for top. We all know what is top. T for tomato, O for onion, P for potato. Top fruits and vegetables. Now from 2020 onwards, it is extended for all the fruits and vegetables, so that this Operation Green. So you can have an e-connect linking through the clusters, and you will be made aware. So some of the companies like Reliance and so many other companies, they have this marketing facilities. Even other companies, they have a tie-up with the farmers and getting the raw materials, making the primary or the secondary processing and distributing to it. So this is the Operation Green. Now apart this, I will not take much time as my time is going to end. Some of the features of this Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, as I told you, which has this outlay of 6,000 crore. Though the scheme was implemented in 2020, it is extended to 26. So that is why 3 more years our farmers can be made benefit out of it. They can make benefit out of it. Now, current update. Last year, 2022, when the Rajya Sabha, our central government gave a report that over 29 lakh farmers they were benefited, mainly getting better price to the farmers, creating huge employment opportunities to them, and the MOFP, the Ministry of Food Processing, They have in 2020 has sanctioned 32 projects under this Yojana, and these projects were spread across 17 states of our nation. So providing three important aspects. One is employment generation. Yes, it creates employment directly and indirectly to the farmers in the rural areas specified. Then it also modern the processing techniques, not using the age-old, the outdated techniques, but using the new technologies for the production of product. The value of this food processing market, if you see in 2018, the food processing market in India, it was 26 billion. Now in 24 FY, we are in FY 24 financial year 2024, it has raised up to 53 billion, almost doubled, expanding this cumulative annual growth rate of almost 12% during this period. So implementation, yes, they have through MOFPI, almost 42 megaparks, 236 integrated cold chain, and all that has been established. Now, the steps are being taken to boost the food processing sector because it links to the farmers' income, to bring down their post-harvest wastage and to identify agro clusters and grant them subsidies. And this implementation, as you know, A and B, if you see different units, unit C, D, these are all some of the links, and finally the farmers are getting benefit out of it. Now coming to the reality check, whatever we may say, though they expect a benefit of 2 million farmers with a funding of 6,000 outlay, you see that if you see this, if you can follow my cursor, pack house numbers. So the required, as per the demand was almost 70,000, they could create 250. I'm just giving a roundup value. Cold storage capacity, it was out of 35, they could create some 32. Out of the 61,000 need, that is refrigerated vehicles, they could establish 9,000. And ripening chambers, out of 9,000 plus, we could do just a 10% of it, and that is 812 or even less. This is the annual post-harvest of India, like for cereal, pulses, and oilseeds, almost 5 to 10%, for fruits and vegetables, 7 to 16%, for plantation crops up to 1 to 8%, livestock produced up to 10%. So this is from a study from CPET in Ludhiana in the year 2015. This is the reality check. So these are some of the figures to tell. Millet cleaning by the women farmers, entrepreneurs again involved in fruits and vegetables, making jam, ketchups, and so on. So with all this, though it looks gloomy, but there are certain challenges for our food processing sector. One is inadequate link between production and processing, seasonability of operations, and low capacity utilization, inadequate focus on quality and safety standards, lack of product development innovation, supply chain, that is the institutional gaps, then supply chain infra gaps. These are some of the challenges for processing sector that it is not only for the farmers, industries, we look forward to doing. Finally, I want to end with a quote for our former Prime Minister, that is agribusiness and food processing. They are the important parts of modernizing our economy. As you all know, he's an economist, of modernizing our agriculture, are moving into a phase where a more modernized agriculture helps not only farmers, but also helps consumers holistically. So farmers, consumers, and people, all three dimensions can be achieved in this. So with this, I conclude my talk, and it's open for discussion. Thank you. Amida ma'am. If you have any questions or point of discussion, you can
Uh, Participants, please ask your questions. If you have any queries, please ask.